Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, folks. Welcome to M1 Racing and our live coverage of round 9 of the G-Force Racing Elite League. My name is Mark, and I'm going to be your host for the next hour or so, and thank you ever so much for joining us. Pete is with me, as always, behind the scenes, monitoring the chat for us, and also keeping an eye on the racing elsewhere on track that we can't bring you live on the stream. Unfortunately, we are without Rio this week. Rio's had such a major technical problem that their PC has gone in for repair. So Rio's not able to join us this week, but we do have a very able replacement, quite a last minute actually, but I'm really glad that they did reach out to us. So we've got Toby with us, also known as Ace Pilot, who you may well know has been driving for Williams ever since season 1 of G-Force Racing. But Toby's taking a break from driving in the league for a little while and has come to join us here in the commentary box. So, Toby, as I said before, we may have lost Toby, actually, so that's not a good start. Peter's just saying to me that we may have lost Ace Pilot, Toby, from our commentary. So we will wait until Toby is back and we'll say hello to Toby properly. We've got some cars coming out onto the track already. So let us bring up, before we get out there and watch some qualifying times, I'm going to take our background music away and bring up the results from last week. We were in the Netherlands at Zandvoort for what turned out to be one of the most incredible races of G-Force Racing since this league began. We had everything from safety cars to changes of weather. It went ever so crazy, and as well as a number of technical issues, and indeed my car, my Aston Martin, making an appearance for the entire race, but I wasn't driving it. We had some major technical problems last week, which caused all sorts of confusion, but did not detract from the racing at all. And for those of you who have been following us for quite a while, may be a little bit surprised to see a name at the top of the finishing order from last week. But Emma Leckie judged their strategy absolutely spot on and took advantage of the change in weather conditions as it got really wet. And they won. They got past SHS Predestinato on the last lap to take victory in Zandvoort. So just a great result for Aston Martin and for Emma Leckie last week. Their first ever victory for G-Force Racing and a return to the podium. I think their last visit to the podium was back in season 1. So huge congratulations to Emma Leckie, and was the collective driver of the day for all of us here in the M1 Racing commentary box. SHS did come home in second, but we also had another first. M. Dorling finishing in third on the podium. They, on the actual stream, if you go back and watch that stream, which I'd really encourage you to do, they did have a 3-second time penalty, but that was rescinded by the stewards after the race, and that promoted them back up to third. So their first ever podium for M. Dorling, finishing there for Alfa Romeo, and just continuing to get better and better each week. And we wonder if they can maybe take a step or two further up this grid, or this finishing order, to perhaps take second or first in the remaining races of season 2 here. M1 Righty, the other Alpine driver, came home in fourth. Matthew M with one of their best performances for G-Force Racing, if not their best so far, finishing fifth for Red Bull. Spicy recovered from a pretty tough start actually to finish sixth. And then we got the two Mercedes drivers. First thing I need to say is my thanks to Desaves for reaching out to me during the last week, just to ask for us to properly pronounce their username. So I had been calling them Desavec before, but actually the correct pronunciation is Desaves. So we'll do our best to keep to remember that as we go through today's stream. And their teammate SS7 finishing in 8th, so not the greatest performance from SS7 compared to previous weeks, having been on the podium for the last 2 weeks beforehand. But the two Mercedes drivers still picking up points. Mac T finished in 9th, and Let's Go RFK finished in 10th. We had a number of DNFs last week, not at least due to the weather and the pretty tough conditions for our drivers. And so we just had the 10 finishers last week. Pete was telling me, I think Toby may be back with us. Toby, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Brilliant. Thanks ever so much for joining us. Just looking at the rundown of the results from last week, you'll remember Emeleki finishing on the podium in season 1, and they were back in the top spot. Does that surprise you?
Nonetheless, they've had good races, so they just need to get their strategy in and keep it on the track, really.
Yeah, I think around here with Emeleki running regularly very low downforce configurations of their car. This is the perfect track for that, and we'll talk a bit more about that in a moment. We're going to get out there to qualify in just a moment, but I do want to show you the driver standings because we are 2/3 of the way through season 2 here. SHS well out in front, 165 points from their teammate M1 Righty, who's got 133. Joe Bean's position in 3rd at the moment, that's going to disappear probably as a result of this race. Joe is sadly not racing with us anymore. It's due to a change in their commitments, but SS7 is going to take their place pretty soon in 3rd place. But that big win from Emeleki last week has moved them up into 5th and only 7 points behind SS7. So that 3rd position for the Drivers' Championship is not yet sorted. And we also see M. Dorling getting very close behind the two drivers as well, currently in 6th. MacT mustn't be discounted. They're a strong driver, and we've still got 3 more races after today to go. There is no MacT today, sadly, but they are going to be back for the future races. We'll talk more about future rounds at the end of today's stream. We are going to come away from there because I do want to get out to qualifying here. We're 11 minutes left of qualifying. And where are we? We are in Monza in Italy, the home of SHS Predestinato, although there was some debate about that in the driver's chat just before we started. But as far as we're concerned, this is the home of SHS. And as you may have noticed, SHS Predestinato is out on track, but they are not driving for their regular team of Alpine. They're actually in a Ferrari, and we've given them special permission, or the SS7 has given them special permission, of course, to race around this, the home of Ferrari here, and SHS Predestinato's home of Monza, to actually drive out there in a Ferrari, and a wonderful gesture by all the drivers to allow Predestinato to do just that. And they'll be looking to really celebrate with the Tifosi at the end of today's race. And they're already setting a strong time of 119.118, but only just. Toby, I'm noticing the early qualifying times, 119.118 for SHS, but Obo's got a 119.193. So Obo, we don't usually see that far up the qualifying order, but that looks like a good time from Obo already.
Yeah, sorry, I was just distracted. Jay had a little moment, but Obo may be running very low downforce, so this might be a quali setup, and he might not be as good on a high fuel load in the race. So
we'll see how they go. It's a very strong start, and I've seen with M. Dorling, their teammate, also they're currently 4th provisional on the grid for the start of this race. These Alfa Romeo drivers are getting better and better each week. And maybe, Obo didn't have a good week last week in Zandvoort. Eventually did not finish. But maybe we found a track that suits their style. Matthew M, 3rd fastest at the moment, the 119.354. And Desaves there with the 119.768. Let us go and find a driver who's actually about to start an out lap. Do you know what? I'm going to go down to Spicy. Now, the reason I've gone to Spicy Nuts here is Spicy gave us some great entertainment at the end of last week. They had a real struggle of a race, but still finished in 6th, and then managed to give the crowd a bit of entertainment with some donuts at the end as well. I think that was last week or the week before. But I think Spicy deserves our attention as we go on a flying lap of this incredible track at Monza. One of the longest ones, 5.8 kilometres. There's only 11 corners here, but it's all very, very fast. The fastest track on the F1 calendar. An average speed of over 250 kilometres an hour. Drivers are on throttle for 80% of the lap. That's just how fast this track is. And we're ploughing down towards the Rettifilio chicane at the end of the start-finish straight. Heavy braking. Spicy goes a bit long there. But they managed to get it through that chicane. Very famous for that collision between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen a few years back. So as Spicy accelerates now through the Curva Grande, heading down towards the Roja chicane, the second of 3 chicanes here. We're back on the power, and now we're going to go into the complex of Lesmos. So Lesmo 1 here first. Quite a wide line there from Spicy. Haven't quite hooked this one up just yet. Now we're going to go through Lesmo 2. That's better from Spicy. Back on the power again. And we're going to head down this really long straight here under the bridge, and we're going to break into the Ascari chicane. Try and carry as much speed as we can through here, riding the curbs. Back on the power as we head down towards Parabolica. This is all about speed here at Monza. Originally just a simple oval, so obviously over the years it's extended into one of the most iconic tracks on the F1 calendar. Spicy hugging really tight to the side, and they are indeed heading into the pits, so we won't get a time from Spicy for that particular lap. Let's get out to no one. Let's Go RFK for Red Bull is just about to start their qualifying lap. No one yet beating the time from SHS Predestinato, 119.118. If you're wondering again why SHS isn't in an Alpine, their usual car of choice, they are driving for Ferrari today. The points actually are still going to go to Alpine. So just special agreement, I think, with SS7 for the race. They are going to still collect points for Alpine, but what a great car for them to drive around this track here in Monza. And we're coming down here with Let's Go RFK into the Roja chicane. And let's bring up our lap data as well, because as we get more drivers coming out on their second laps, we'll be able to see if they're improving. So we see we missed the apex there from Let's Go, but we're back on the power now. The first main DRS zone, the other one being down the start-finish straight into the Ascari chicane. Now that's going to be cutting track limits. I think obviously we won't see if the driver's got a warning, but that was a big chunk of the corner taken off by Let's Go RFK, so it does indeed look as though they're perhaps backing out of this one. Don't think this lap is going to count for the Red Bull driver, so they will need to go again, as many of our drivers will find around here. If you go, and Let's Go has gone into the pits there, so they've given up on that one. Spicy's on another out lap, so we might come back to them in just a moment. Emeleki is out there on their... Yeah, they are on a new hot lap. M. Dorling setting the fastest lap so far, 118.946, Toby. That's amazing from M. Dorling, a really strong time to get into the 118s.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like he was struggling to beat Obo's time with the 119.2, but then he put in that lap. So I assume the 119.2 was just a practice hot lap.
That's an amazing lap from M. Dorling. They hooked that up and they've put some rocket fuel in those Alfa Romeos today, it seems. So M. Dorling now the one to beat. They've laid the gauntlet down to SHS Predestinato at their home track. We're with Emeleki here as they're looking to improve on their 119.857. Quite a slow time by Emeleki standards, but it would have been a sighter lap, I'm sure. They're coming over the start-finish line. We're improving enormously. 119.125. That's moved Emeleki up into provisional third spot, so well done to Emeleki. Obo is out again, but they're not improving, so we just saw it in the top corner of our screen. They're just under 3/10 down on their last lap, so not going to improve on that 119.193. Matthew M is into the pits once again, so our driver's not quite hooking their laps up necessarily. SS7's got a time of 119.327. You can see there, Toby, that there's really very little between certainly the top 7 drivers, less than half a second. This is going to be a close race.
Yeah, and so if you look, it's very little even to P8 and 9 and to P7. There's about half a second in between those. Even the back runners could be getting up and fighting for like P5, P6, or even front row.
It's anyone's race at this particular point, or certainly anyone's qualifying position. Spicy is out there on a hot lap. They have yet to set a time. One of 3. Now, Spicy's in again. They have not hooked it up just yet, so obviously not quite happy. Their teammate Jay is yet to set a lap also. And Let's Go RFK, our 3 drivers without a qualifying time. We also have a new driver with us this week, Wolfman 3TM. Very welcome to Wolfman. Great to have them with us. They've set a time of 120.614, but have left qualifying at this point. So that's their time. That's what they're going to be starting the race with. We've also got Sancho Killer with us back this week for AlphaTauri. I've been with us, I think, the last couple of weeks, looking to improve and move up the starting order and get some points in the race. So Sancho Killer, very good to have them back with us this week. I do want to get so we'll stick with Sancho. Let's Go RFK is on a hot lap, Pete tells me, so let's get down to Let's Go. Also see Mr. Hannes in the chat. Hey Mr. Hannes, thanks for being with us this week. I hope your recovery continues to go well, and I hope Madeira was good, by the way, unless you're still there and enjoying the sunshine. But it's good to have you with us on the stream. And I hear a rumour that you might be back racing with us very soon. So we look forward to seeing a Haas back out on the track in the not too distant future. So Let's Go here is on a lap left, struggling through. Lesmo 1 there, just to keep the back end on the track under acceleration. Once we get those rear wheels out onto the AstroTurf, it's very easy for the car to let go. M. Dorling still has the fastest time of 118.946. I'm going to ask Pete to keep an eye on when we see Predestinato come back out one more time. There just looks as though Predestinato is coming out very shortly. We're seeing all our drivers come out now. We've got 1 minute and 36 seconds left of qualifying. We just get the one qualifying session, so you've got to make these last ones count. Let's Go's gone very, very wide through Parabolica. That will be no time for Let's Go. So
the time, it didn't get invalidated.
Oh, they did keep the time, 121.059. So track limits being very generous on the outside of Parabolica here, and indeed perhaps going wide there is not an advantage for Let's Go. Let's Go getting well out of way. That's probably a smart move with lots of other cars around. SS7 is out there on track as well. I'd also need my track map so we can remember exactly where we are. That's through Lesmo 2.
The track map will also allow you to see if the driver's invalidated as well.
That's a good shout, Toby. Thank you for that. So we've got SS7 on the back of one of the McLarens. That will be either Jay or Spicy. And it looks as though both drivers on a hot lap. So they can't really hold each other up. It looks as though whoever is in that McLaren has slowed right down. May have given a pretty nice tow to SS7. So SS7 is going to come over the line to try and improve. Emma Leckie has left, so it's 119.125. SS7 has gone in, so they have not improved. We better watch out for SHS and M. Dorling. So they're on their... They're leaving it right to the last second here, Toby. Literally 10 seconds left to go for these two drivers. And looks like SHS is going to get a bit of a tow from M. Dorling.
When doesn't SHS leave it to the last second?
Yeah, you said it. You said it. They're usually last into the lobby, but they're not usually last on track, that's for sure. So, M. Dorling is out there. So, Peter's telling me SS7 did go purple, but then retired. So, maybe it was that McLaren just happened to get in their way, and it gets ever so busy out on track in these last few minutes of qualifying. Oh, and we see SS7 in the driver's chat saying they invalidated right at the end and they were 4 tenths up, so it was looking good for SS7, potentially getting to the 118s. Desaves has finished with a 119.287. We're on board with M. Dorling. And SHS, it was purple in Sector 2. So SHS is improving. They've got to go quite a way here. They're 2 tenths almost off of M. Dorling. We're with M. Dorling, and SHS Predestinato is going to follow on, I believe, right behind them in the Ferrari. Oh, no, Peter's telling me I've got my bearings wrong. So there is Predestinato improving 119.030, but M. Dorling is on pole position, Toby. Unless Matthew M will go down to Matthew M. It looks like I think they're coming into the pits. Matthew M is into the pits. So M. Dorling is on pole, Toby. What a great drive from M. Dorling in qualifying.
Yeah, M. Dorling doesn't even have to set a new lap because FHS just couldn't catch him, being just under a tenth of a second behind him.
Well, huge congratulations to M. Dorling. I know they've been getting better, but I don't even think they thought they could do that. So great drive there. That puts M. Dorling on pole position. They're going to have our championship leader in alongside them. So we'll see SHS Predestinato in the driver's chat had sunlight in their eyes. So perhaps we need to fit some tinted visors to Predestinato's driver's helmet, I think. Spicy looks a bit frustrated in the driver's chat and thinking that they may well have got pole there, or certainly done a lot better. Didn't quite hook it up for Spicy today. And we see Andrew M, who's also Matthew M, in their Twitch chat, just really struggling to get it consistent around here. And Monza's one of those, if you get it right, you can get a fast time, but it's easy to get it wrong. So our qualification standings, M. Dorling on first, on pole, their first visit to the front of the grid. SHS Predestinato is in second, Emelecki in third, Obo in fourth, M1 Righty in fifth, Matthew M in sixth, Desafes in seventh, SS7 in eighth, Sancho Killer in ninth, Spicy Nuts 10th, Jay in 11th, Wolfman, our new driver, in 12th, and Let's Go at the end there in 13th. So, what's your... Toby, I usually ask Rio this question, so I'm going to ask you the same one. Who do you think's going to win this race round Monza?
It's going to be tight, I think. I think M. Dorling's probably got more of a qualifying setup, so it could be difficult for them to deal with the race. Racing with high fuel. Yet SHS probably seems to have good race pace in general.
They definitely do. So Predestinato is always up the front and rarely is outside the podium positions at all. They're going to push M. Dorling all the way. I reckon M. Dorling's heart rate is probably racing right now, and let's hopefully they can translate that into pace on the track and see if they can keep that good pace from qualifying going into the race itself. We don't have the formation lap here, folks, so if you're joining us for the first time on M1 Racing with the GeForce Racing Elite League, we guess when we see the drivers lined up on the grid in just a moment, we'll get 5 lights as we see here, and then we are going to be racing. 5 lights are on, 5 lights are out. All right, folks, let's go racing. M. Dorling leads us away for round 9 of GeForce Racing Elite League. And it looks, what a cracking start from the Alfa Romeo driver. And we've then got SHS being potentially swamped by those behind. The Aston Martin of Emelecki is trying to find a way past the Ferrari driver, or I should say Alpine driver. You take your pick today. So SHS Predestinato has held on to second, but under all sorts of pressure from the Aston Martin of Emelecki. And then Obo right behind them. Then comes M1 Righty. In the Alpine, the teammate for SHS Predestinato, looked like SS7 going a little bit wide through the Rogier chicane. As we're on lap 1 here, we're coming through the second Lesmo, and M. Dorling has led us away. I'm going to put the tyres up, Toby, pretty quick here, because that could give us some information in terms of why certain drivers are doing better than others. We've got a virtual safety car already. Toby, do you see what the VSC maybe for?
I'm going to have a look. I think it's about, debris on Let's Go RFK, front wing damage.
Let's go down to Let's Go. So
I just got really confused. I just got chucked into a Ferrari.
No, indeed. No, Let's Go definitely has lost the front left wing end plate there, just on their Red Bulls. So they've definitely had a coming together. Sancho Killer has left us as well. For some reason, it looks like you, Toby, are in a Ferrari. I don't know how that's happened.
I just went to the race and it was like start race, and I just got put into a Ferrari.
Well, it did that to me last week and put me in an Aston Martin, but you have DNF'd. So Sancho Killer has
chose
lost.
To leave.
Yeah, well, thank you for doing that. I couldn't do that last week with my Aston; it just wouldn't let me. So Let's Go has gone in for a new nose cone. The VSC has ended, so we're back racing again. We're going to go back to the front of the field here because that's where the action is right now. All our drivers very close together, as you can imagine, in these early stages of the race. But M. Dorling will want to pull away from SHS Predestinato as quickly as they can. Seeing in the driver's chat that perhaps Sancho had a coming together with Jay, which has meant that they've left us so early on in this Italian Grand Prix. But M. Dorling leads the way for Alfa Romeo on having picked their first ever pole position from qualifying with G-Force Racing. And if they can convert this into a win, that will be absolutely amazing for the Alfa Romeo driver and continuing their strong run of results. Other drivers in the Drivers' Championship will be looking over their shoulders if it stays this way. Long way for us to go, though. We're on lap 3 of 27. SS7 currently setting the fastest lap with 121.740. SS7 there on medium tyres. Obo, Toby, has started on softs, the only soft runner. That's a brave move, don't you think? These soft tyres can give up pretty quickly.
Yeah, but if you can hold them out long enough, you may be able to go a soft, medium, soft if you saved enough, or a soft, hard, and gain track position.
That's very
but also,
true.
Let's Go RFK also started on the softs as well, but got a damaged end plate and had to go in and got a penalty for it as well.
And as we've seen, there's a chance of the odd accident round here, potentially a safety car, and a two-stop would not be out of the question for some of our drivers. I think those at the front will be probably planning on a two-stopper. Many of them here on mediums, that being the tyre of choice for most of the grid to start this race on. M1 Righty going with a slightly different strategy from their teammate, going on to hards, but that will also mean they don't end up stacking too much in the pits with both SHS and M1 going in at exactly the same time. But as you're starting to see, this train of cars is starting to pull each other along as they try and stay within the range of DRS. Oh, and if we go down to SS7, looking has got past the second Alfa Romeo of Obo. So SS7
might be a charge into the chicane with a Mila K.
And Emeleki also very close on the back of SHS Predestinato. So Emeleki is not letting the drivers out in front get away, looking to bag another podium, having taken the win last week in Zandvoort. SS7 trying to get on the back of this group of three up front. So SS7's going strong, as we saw them say in the drivers' chat at the start of the race during qualifying. They had some good pace, but sadly invalidated right at the very end. So they're putting that now into the race. And if they can get on the back of Emeleki, they'll be dragged along with those cars in front. And Toby, DRS around Monza is ever so important.
Yeah, I wouldn't think it would be as effective as it is, because everyone's going to be running low downforce. DRS isn't going to make a lot of difference, but it can give you a helping hand of 2 kilometers, and that's all you may need.
And such a long straight down the Rittifilio, the car's hitting maximum speed down there, and any drag that the cars can remove just will allow them to close up incredibly quickly. SS7 has already got onto the back of Emeleki in the space of a lap, so the Mercedes driver has got some real pace here and might be looking to try and make a move, but Emeleki will have the DRS from the back of Predestinato as well. So these cars are likely to stay line astern for a little while, particularly if they start saving tyres. M1 Righty in the hard tyres. So Toby, if you were on hard tyres at this point, how far do you want to get through the race before you think about pitting?
Depends on the strategy. If you're going for a Hail Mary and trying to go from hard to soft and just gain lots of overtakes in the last couple laps, lap 20-ish, because depending on how long Obo can stay on the softs, depends on when you would want to pit for the softs.
Yeah, and SS7's now really hooked up their car. They are definitely trying to find a way past the Aston Martin of Emeleki. M1 Righty is also starting to pick up the pace. Perhaps those hard tyres now coming in to a life of their own on lap 5 here. So the hard runners starting to come into play. Obo, who started on those soft, has dropped back now to 6th, having come under that enormous pressure. And also we see the red light flashing on the back of Obo's car. Pete did mention in my ear just a few moments ago that it's looking quite overcast here in Monza. It only says 17% chance of rain at this point, but it is going up, Peter's telling me. So we may well have rain once again with G-Force Racing. In season 1, Toby, you were in it. It seemed to race almost every single. Seemed to rain almost every single race.
Yeah, that was not the best fun, unless you could keep it on the track and get track position. Other than that, you're in the wall.
And we see Matthew M in the Twitch chat has been disconnected. Hopefully, Matthew, we can get you back in sooner rather than later. I think Pete will try and find you unless one of the other drivers that is out can get you back in. But we will do our best to get you back into the race and you can pick up control of your Red Bull as soon as possible. We're on board with SS7 coming onto the straight at the back of the circuit as we trying to find a way past the Aston Martin of Emelecki. But SS7 is trying to defend here from M1 Righty in the Alpine, who's starting to pick up the pace on those hard tyres. And if they can retain this speed for the length of laps that Toby was potentially suggesting, this is going to put M1 in a very strong position. Certainly M. Dorling is holding SHS Predestinato at bay as we come around Parabolica here on board with the Alpine driver of M1 Righty. This M1 is really the last of this bunch of 5 drivers, but Spicy has also got past Obo. So Spicy starting to make their way up the field here.
SHS just dived down the inside of M. Dorling.
And we came away from them just at the wrong moment then. Thank you, Toby. So Predestinato has moved up into the lead, but we can see that change a few times with the benefit of DRS. And we don't know if M. Dorling has been saving any battery. And M. Dorling's gone straight on there at the Rogier chicane. So perhaps starting to lose some grip, and perhaps the temperatures are starting to cool a little bit under these overcast skies here in Italy. But M. Dorling back on circuit. We now have this train of 5 cars. And I guess, Toby, we just want to stick behind the Ferrari, don't we?
M1's just passing SS7.
We're down here with M1 now, so M1 is up past SS7 and closing at a rate of knots. So perhaps this hard tyre strategy from M1 is a very good one, Toby.
Yeah, it seems to be that Emelecki right now is the bottleneck in this train.
And SS7 has dropped off at the back. Yeah.
Matthew's
safety car.
Matthew's just DNF'd.
So I don't know if that was Matthew coming back and grabbing hold of their car just at the wrong moment. But that is the end of the Red Bull drivers' race here in Monza. That's put M1 Righty into the lead of this race. But they are on hard tyres. They didn't want to pit, but everyone else is in. Toby, what would you have done in that position? Would you have gone in and new tyres?
No, I would have stayed out if I was in M1 Righty. I would have stayed out on the hard because you can gain track position, but also that will just bunch up behind the safety car. So I don't know. It depends on how long the safety car will be out for.
It's certainly going to give most of our drivers a chance to get onto the back of M1 pretty quickly here. We are just coming around the back of the circuit here into Lesmo 2 with M1, obviously having to go very slowly under the safety car conditions. They'll be coming to join the safety car on the start-finish straight momentarily. And then all our other drivers who have now switched on to brand new tyres, other than Let's Go RFK, who has... Let's Go is also now into the pits as well. So M1 will be the only driver. Now, I could see there's a bit of a gap. M1 might, if they've been able to move fast enough under the safety car conditions, they might be in straight away. We're going to stay with M1 here to see if they do dive straight into the pits. All the other cars are going very slowly through the Ascari chicane at the moment. M1 is indeed in. So we're going to see where M1 comes out of the pits here, having switched on to new tyres. We see the other train of cars coming down the back straight after the Ascari chicane. M1 is in.
Gone for the mediums. So.
And M1 is coming out now, and they will retain the lead of this race. So it looks as though this could work out. This has worked out well. Now, how do we sort this one out? Oh, M1 has lost it in terms of track position.
He's going to be P3 by the looks of it.
Yep, I think you're right. P3 for M1. So it almost worked out very well. I think that's where that's when the safety car came out. They were in P3 roughly around then, or were they just behind Emelecki?
They were just behind Emelecki, but I believe when it when he came out the pits, SHS just passed the first safety car line before him,
Right. So
causing him to go into P3 as well as M1 Dorling going ahead.
So it certainly works slightly to the advantage of M1 in the sense that they have at least come back on with brand new medium tyres. That's going to give them a lot of pace when we get back under racing conditions.
M1's in softs, so that advantage may be negated.
Yeah, so M1's currently showing third on our screen here. So Emelecki dropping down into fourth, but they're on hard tyres, looking to take this away into the race. I think, Toby, we'll see one more pit stop, do you think, before the end of this race is out?
Yeah, maybe from M1, definitely from M Dorling, because those softs will not be able to last just under 20 laps. With mediums maybe, but it'll take some serious tyre nursing, when I don't think you can afford that at the moment, with how low the top 10 are.
Yeah, and M Dorling has picked up a 3-second time penalty, I imagine, for track limits, which we will see some drivers pick up round here. Jay has also picked up 3 seconds, so that's going to hurt M Dorling's race perhaps at the end. This 3 seconds will only be added on at the very end of the race, folks, so M Dorling's not going to be able to get rid of that one. We're going to do another lap under the safety car, but M Dorling is on some brand new soft tyres, so they are going to be very rapid in the early stages and are going to want to get past Predestinato as quickly as they can, and then get out of the DRS range of the Ferrari driver, and hopefully get ahead before they then need to pit again. I wouldn't be surprised that we see another safety car at some point as we get towards the end of this race and drivers pushing a little bit harder. The forecast does seem to be sticking only around 15% chance of rain, so it's looking as though it's going to stay dry for the foreseeable future. Which
we're
is
only halfway through, we're less than halfway through. It can change maybe in a mathematics and you need to remember
and certainly around the European tracks, that is almost for certain. We've seen it in the Netherlands, we've seen it at Silverstone, we've seen it in Spa. It's a very high probability that we may get some rain before the end of the race, but at the moment timing screens are saying it's going to stay dry. Hopefully the safety car is going to be in this lap. We have lost Matthew M, Sancho Killer, and then Ace Pilot, who was never actually out there because Toby is with us here in the commentary box for M1 Racing this week. We're on just about to end lap 10, and then we're going to start lap 11 of 27. As Toby rightly says, we are not halfway yet, so still plenty of time for our drivers to sort themselves out. Emelecki there in 4th, SS7 in 5th, Spicy now in 6th, Obo dropping down there into 7th, Jay is there in 8th for McLaren, Desaves in 9th, and Wolfman, our new driver for Williams, taking your seat, I think, there, Toby, is with us there in 10th, so we're going to give some airtime to Wolfman. We are back under green flag racing when Predestinato goes over the start-finish line, and we are back to full speed racing here. M Dorling is going to try and go with Predestinato, and it's got very busy towards the back end here. SS7 under some pressure from Spicy Nuts. Indeed, Spicy Nuts has got past, or is certainly going side by side. We're 3 wide here with an Alfa Romeo, a McLaren and a Mercedes trying to make their way up. Spicy Nuts is the winner of that particular battle. They've moved through ahead of SS7. SS7 losing some time there to Obo as well. So SS7 losing out big time from the restart here. Spicy is looking to get on the back of Emelecki pretty quickly. I do want to go back to the front and M Dorling though, because this is where the battle's going to be. M Dorling on these soft tyres, SHS on the hard tyres, should have no defence against M Dorling's great pace here in Monza. We will see it. DRS may not be enabled for this first lap, so M Dorling's going to need to do this all on grip and power alone. Indeed, M Dorling is back into the lead of this race for Alfa Romeo and has got to pull away. M1 Righty now on the back of their teammate SHS, Predestinato. M1 Righty is going through. So these grippier, soft and medium tyres helping those drivers get in advance of the Ferrari here. M1 Righty will have the inside here into the Rettifilo chicane, and indeed the Alpine moves into second place now and will be after M. Dorling in first place. Emilecki now on the back of Predestinato. I wonder, Toby, whether or not this switch onto hard tyres isn't working out for Predestinato at the moment.
Yeah, they can't make no slow for fully to warm the tyre. I've got to take a few laps out of the braking to warm back up again. So they could not be at the correct temperature.
And Emilecki seems to be struggling with the same issue here. They've just lost the place to Obo. So Obo moving up into 5th. Spicy now into 4th. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 2. That looks to be Let's Go RFK. Yeah, they have recovered back on the circuit. So the medium and soft runners, understandably, with more superior pace at the moment. SHS unable to really hang on to the back of the Alpine. And Spicy Nuts is desperately trying to get back into the DRS range of the Ferrari now so that they can take advantage of that. M1 Righty sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:21.578. So they are after M. Dorling and will be looking to get past them at their earliest possible opportunity. Spicy now looking to try and get us to go a little bit sideways. There's the back end there into turn 1. They are pulling Obo with them, and then comes Emilecki, SS7J. Desaves is up past the McLaren driver of J, so maybe these hard tyres will start to switch on for some of these. We did see after about 5 or 6 laps for M1 Righty that they started to get an awful lot more pace than the medium runners. So maybe they will come back. Obo is under pressure now from Emilecki. And SHS is looking to at least stay within range of their teammate M1 Righty. M. Dorling, Toby, has not been able to pull away from M1 Righty, and they've got them right behind them now.
Yeah, I'm just focusing on Miele right now. He's very close to Obo. Yeah, and M1 or M1 may not have it again with the race, so M. Dorling would definitely. So if M1 wants to get out, maybe a bit out to overcut and then
We've seen M1 take soft tyres a very long way through a race. They are going to go through on M. Dorling. So M. Dorling now, on those soft tyres, will be looking for one more pit stop. They could perhaps pray for an early safety car. That would really serve them well at this point. Either that, they will try and stay on the back of M1 for as long as they can. They are almost a second out from SHS Predestinato, and if they can break that DRS zone from the Ferrari driver, then these two will pull away and start to make a bit of a gap. Spicy's nearly 3 seconds back from Predestinato now. Obo is on the back of Spicy, so Obo having a good race here. Yeah, Emilecki is there. Also, SS7 is joining the party here, and their teammate Desaves also coming to join this group. It's got very tight here for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. Then we've got a gap back to J. M. Dorling is on to the back of M1 Righty again. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 3. J, we've lost J as well. So that's promoting Wolfman into 9th. And Let's Go RFK. We're going to go down to Wolfman here. Their first visit to... And we get another safety car. Now, the M1 and M. Dorling. SHS all pitting. Spicy Nuts is... No, everyone's going to be in. Toby, I think we're going to get everyone in. So... Yeah, mediums for all our front runners so far. We're watching, you can see this in the focus in the top left corner of your screen. So Spicy Nut, the only one to go on to hards at this point. Everyone else going for mediums. Desaves has gone on to softs. Yeah, that's a good move from Wolfman. So maybe they've timed that well. The two Mercedes drivers would have been stacking there. So that's probably the reason why Wolfman would have moved up. So both SS7 and Decivest coming in together has given an opportunity for Wolfman to get up into 8th, and we're with Wolfman here. I can't get my W's out altogether in one sentence. We're with Wolfman here, driving for Williams for the first time here with G-Force Racing. We very much welcome them to the league. It can always be a nervous experience when you're with a new group of drivers for the first time, but they're conducting themselves well so far. They're up into the point paying position, so this league pays points for the first 10 finishers. As long as our remaining 10 drivers can get to the end of this race, Toby, they get points, and you know that only too well.
Yeah, all the way, Wolfman, don't crash.
Well, you managed to get some points for Williams this year, this season, and indeed towards the end of last season. So it looks like a good first race so far for Wolfman. Let us bring up the winners and losers. So we go position changes here. So M1 Righty has definitely advanced significantly, up 4 places from their starting position on the grid. Spicy Nuts also gaining 6 positions at this point, going very well for Spicy. SS7 up 2. Wolfman up 4, as we were just talking about. And Let's Go RFK really taking advantage of all these DNFs that have gone before them. They're up 3 into 10th, and they will get a point if they can get that Red Bull over the finish line. We've still got safety car out there. And Toby, Spicy Nuts doing pretty well up there in 4th.
Yeah, considering where they started, wasn't it P8 or somewhere in that region? Started in the lower ranks and have made good strategy decisions and pulled up to close to the podium and probably can challenge for a podium.
I'd give them every chance. They've definitely got some pace around here, it would seem. As Pete rightly says, it was 10th on the starting grid for Spicy. So 6 places gained for the McLaren driver. And they're right up there in the points, and potentially, as Toby says, on for maybe finding a spot on the podium. We are on lap 16 of 27, so we've just got 11 laps left to go. This race here at Monza is over very, very quickly for a 50% race because of the lap times being so very, very quick. So we've got 11 laps left to go. Hopefully we will get to do those under green flag racing, not under the safety car. We had a couple of safety cars last week in Zandvoort, which bunched up the field right at the very end of the race, which in the rain gave us some cracking racing and allowed Emma Leckie to take advantage. Safety car is in, so that means M1 Righty is going to become our safety car here. They are going to set the pace, and they are going to decide when to go. Toby, the safety car restart here at Monza, it's got to be a real dilemma because they really don't want to be dragging these cars all the way down the Rettifilio straight. They've got no hope of defending.
Yeah, what you really want to do is try and almost jump start and catch them off guard, so you can build yourself a couple tenths gap bigger than what you already have into the braking zone, where you can try and defend around the around the turn 3.
And M1 Righty's left it to the last minute, but they have gone now, and that's really backed up the field behind them. This is going to get very interesting into turn 1. Dorling is under pressure from the Ferrari. SHS Predestinato has gone sideways there. I think they lost it. We'd have to look that back on a replay later. Whether they clipped a curb, clipped a rear wing, not sure. But that has put Predestinato
also went across the curb
down into 6th place. SS7, as all cars trying to avoid each other. Into turn 1, they were all bunched up from the start of the safety car. That's really played into the hands of Spicy Nuts, who's moved up now into 3rd. As we were saying, the podium position was potentially on for them. SS7 now is in 4th, and they've brought their teammate Decivest with them into 5th. Predestinato is all the way down there now in 6th place, 1.7 seconds back. They've got some work to do here, Toby, but if any driver can make it back, Predestinato can do it.
Also, I think the chaos in turn 1 and 2 has helped Wolfman as well, because they started in P8 on that restart and got back up to P7.
So it's worked out for the Williams team as well. Obo, not so lucky. They're in 8th. Emma Leckie right down there in 9th now. So they got caught out by that coming together, or that spin by Predestinato, or maybe they just misjudged their braking into turn one. They'd have picked up a massive slipstream from the cars in front of them. SHS now 2 seconds back. I wonder if they may have picked up a little bit of damage, but they are struggling to get onto the lead group. But now M. Dorling is with M1 Righty. Spicy Nuts right behind them. Then Spicy is coming under pressure from SS7. We're going to have to watch out for track limit penalties towards the end. A couple of drivers obviously having to take avoiding action in the safety car restart. May have picked up a track limits warning. We will only know if they pick up any more. SS7 looks to have a good exit here as we come into Lesmo 1. Trying to find a way past the McLaren driver. Indeed, looks like SS7 has a good exit. But thinks better of it. We'll go on board here with SS7. Huge tow from the McLaren behind, using their ERS. Battery. Yep, they are indeed. We can just see that on their dashboard there. So SS7 moves up into third place, and SS7 had a pretty awful qualifying, but they've done well here so far to move up into third. Toby.
Yeah, they're qualified down in the low ranks as well, just like Spicy Nuts. And got their strategy just right. You take advantage of the safety cars and kept their nose clean, except for turn one after the restart.
And we've seen SS7 is doing their best to get into that range of DRS. We've seen M. Dorling,
down.
Good spot, Toby. So M. Dorling is through on M1 Righty. Got to bear in mind that Spicy Nuts, who SS7 has just got past, was on hard tyres. Desaves behind, Spicy's on soft. So in these early laps, Spicy may struggle, but we've seen the hard runners come right back into it. M. Dorling needs to scamper off into the distance, because that 3 seconds at the moment is going to drop them all the way back to 5th place. So they've got to get on with this. SS7 really wants to hang on to the back end here of M1. We can see just from their dashboard here that they've got a small amount of battery left, just using a little bit of it. We've lost Predestinato from the session. Wonder if they got some connectivity issues, Toby. They're really struggling, but maybe that's perhaps what caused part of the problem.
Spicy just got another 3 second time penalty, so that's got their first one.
That reduces the pressure on SS7.
Emelecki.
And now for Emelecki picking up a 3 second penalty as well. So these penalties are going to play a big role in the finishing order for this race. M. Dorling sets the fastest lap of the race so far, 121.122. We're on lap 20 of 27. This is round 9 of the G-Force Racing Elite League from here in Monza in Italy, the home of Predestinato. But Predestinato had an unfortunately awkward restart after the second safety car, losing their car into turn 1. That's dropped them down into 6th. They're our current championship leader. I don't think their championship lead is at risk, but it's certainly an advantage to all the other drivers. And bear in mind, M1 Righty is the closest challenger for the championship, and they are in second right now on the rear end of M. Dorling's. SS7 looks to be dropping back from this group, and so this pair up front of M. Dorling and M1 Righty starting to pull out. And as we were saying, Toby, M. Dorling's got to get on with this, because that 3 second penalty will hurt them big time otherwise.
Yeah, currently he'll still be in the podium though.
Definitely holding on to that podium, yep.
How that 3 second stands, I believe, especially since Spicy has a 3 second time penalty as well.
That's very true.
So,
good maths, Toby.
Yes, it may not be a win, but he'll be up there on the podium, which I think are the first for M1? Or no, M. Dorling?
Well, M. Dorling's first podium was last week in Zandvoort, so they're looking to at least continue that run. M1 Righty doesn't seem to have a run, or they're going to make a last-minute move. No, they think better out of that. Recharge that battery. Desavec is now past Spicy Nuts, so...
SS is just past Obo, so he's trying to make his way up the field.
Yeah, Predestinato is back.
To get Emelecki.
Good.
Emelecki.
So Emelecki is a long way back from Spicy Nuts, as we can see. We're on board with Desaves here, now on the back of their teammate SS7. SS7 is 2 seconds back from M1 Righty, so there could be a battle for the last podium position. Desaves will do well to keep these soft tyres going to the very end of this race. They're 6 laps old already, That will be another 6 laps, 12 laps on these softs is going to be tough going. But these cars will have lighter fuel loads at this point, so the wear on these soft tyres will not be as significant. But Spicy Nuts will have something to say about that. Yellow flag in Sector 2.
Oh, Wolfman.
Another safety car.
Wolfman.
Wolfman, we have lost Wolfman. That's a real shame for Wolfman's first race with GFR. So we lose Wolfman for Williams. Sorry, Toby, it wasn't to be. But if their performance today is anything to go by, hopefully they'll be back with us and start collecting some points for Williams for you.
Yeah, hopefully. I can't really say much, though. I DNF'd in most of my races, so I can't get mad at him.
I know you wouldn't anyway. You're too nice a person for that. We do have cars into the pits, but not everyone, interestingly. So M. Dorling and SS7 have stayed out.
They're on mediums. That could be a stroke of genius, but it all depends if those soft runners are going to be right up behind them, though, on the safety car.
This is an interesting set of choices by all of our drivers. So all of those who are pitting, understandably, are in on softs. So whether or not DSFS and SS7 are talking, they decided not to stack, or it's just the way it's worked out. DSFS has gone on to softs, so interesting choice for SS7. I think they were leading. The lead driver would normally have first shout, but they've decided to stay out. Toby, do you think that's a good call?
Yeah, but it depends on how well you can defend into turn 1 and 2, because that's going to be their main overtaking points right at the start of the restart, that they'll have the superior grip.
It's a real gamble.
If you can hold them off there, then it's the next couple chicanes. You've got to hold them off, and that's it.
Yeah, it is a real gamble to know what to do. We've seen, we saw what happened to Predestinato on the last restart. They, it's just the odd mistake, or just a coming together because the cars are so close together going into that corner, is a real challenge, and it's so easy to just get it wrong or just be unlucky. Perhaps M. Dorling and SS7 thinking, well, I'm at the front here. I'd rather hold on to that track position rather than trying to have to fight my way through. We don't know how long the safety car is going to stay out there for. It could be we just have a 2 or 3 lap dash at the end.
I hope it goes in this lap, to be honest, but Spicy seems to have a really long pit stop.
Yes.
He's just dropped quite a few positions, or he's just gone into the pits.
Yeah, Spicy is back into the pits. They did indeed seem to lose track position whilst also not pitting. So whether or not they had some kind of issue there, but they have now pitted. They're onto soft tyres, have given up what was looking like a promising finishing position. We've started lap 23, but we are under the safety car here. SS7 is behind M. Dorling, first and second, but they will have the brand new soft shod runners of M1 Righty, DSFS, Emelecki, SHS Predestinato, Obo, Let's Go RFK and Spicy Nuts hunting them down into turn 1. But they just, I guess, Toby, these front runners have just got to defend for their lives when this safety car comes in. And you never know, they might be able to hold on to the podium positions here, but it's going to be ever so tough.
Well, we know from past that SS7 is quite good at defending, and also M. Dorling's had a trial by fire by having to defend SHS for so long. So these two have quite a good chance to defend.
Safety car is in this lap, Toby, so the field will bunch right up here.
Yeah.
As we come away from SS7 there. They're going to have M1 Righty breathing down their neck into turn 1. Now, when does M. Dorling go? Do they go early or do they go late? As Toby was saying earlier, we've got to try and catch the rest of the field unaware and go as early as possible when they're thinking of other things. SS7 is not taking any chances. They've stuck their front wing right on the gearbox.
They've gone.
M. Dorling's gone. And that's a good time to do it. And SSM's gone very wide. Now, no overtaking until the start-finish line. So M1 Righty's got to stay just behind SS7. Now they have the inside. M1 is definitely going to find their way through on SS7 into turn 1. SS7 has to give them room. and that puts M1 back in front. M. Dorling had done a really great job of opening up that gap. Predestinato is up into 5th. They're going to be on a charge now. And SS7 is going to be...
has been put into jaws of all the soft runners.
Really going to be swallowed up here. SS7 losing places, hands over fist here. We've got another yellow flag. And maybe that is SS7 going wide. Well, that yellow flag has cleared very, very quickly, I'm glad to say. M1 righty now, right on the back of M. Dorling. As we've come out of Lesmo 2, it's going to be no hope, I fear, here for M. Dorling. With that 3-second time penalty. Emelecki's moved up into 3rd. They also have a 3-second penalty. If SS7 can stay with this group, they still stand a chance of getting on the podium here. M1's got to get on with it now, but they're going to be towing M. Dorling and Emelecki with them, Toby.
Yeah. It seems that the front 3 runners have managed to pull away, and M. Dorling still managing to stay in the middle of that group without losing too much time, if not gaining time on M1.
SS7 looks like a sitting duck here on those medium tyres. Well, they were perhaps defending quite aggressively from Obo there, but they've held on to 4th into the chicane turns 1 and 2. But Obo has so much more traction coming out of turn 2 and easily passed. Now SS7 is under threat from Spicy Nuts. Spicy Nuts is going to be through on the Roja chicane as we see them heavily using ERS. And SS7 sadly for them going backwards. But at the front of the field, M1 has now pulled out a massive gap in this race terms, at least 1.4 seconds to M. Dorling. M. Dorling under pressure from Emelecki. There's nearly 3 seconds to Obo. Obo will not want to take a podium away from their teammate, I'm sure, but Obo's never been on the podium either for G-Force Racing. So what do you do, Toby? Is if you're Obo, do you look and try and take that, guarantee that 3rd place and get 2 alphas on there, but maybe run the risk of taking that place away from your teammate M. Dorling, or do you drop back a little bit?
He has time to drop back slightly because Spicy Nuts is just under a second behind him, and currently the way it stands, Amelike will finish P4 and Obo will finish P3, with M. Dorling finishing P2. So as long as he can keep the time cap to this, he should be fine.
Obo is not quite hanging on to that, just about actually hanging on to the 3-second gap, only just to Emelecki. They really need to get a little bit closer, certainly very close. Emelecki is putting their M. Dorling under a lot of pressure. M. Dorling doing well to hold on to these 11-lap old medium tyres compared to Emelecki's much newer softs, but we've seen those softs go off quickly here. So if these mediums can hang on, M. Dorling may well get 2nd place. We're on lap 26 of 27. M1 righty scampered off into the distance, 2.5 seconds clear of M. Dorling. Understandably, we are focused on this battle here for the last 2 podium positions. M. Dorling in 2nd, Emelecki in 3rd. Obo is in 4th. Wood still 3rd place at the moment. So Emelecki's desperately got to get past M. Dorling. Their last chance, well, it won't be their last chance, but it will be down. They will have a very significant chance down the start-finish straight here. And indeed, Emelecki has the inside and has got past M. Dorling. Now, can M. Dorling stay with Emelecki and perhaps use ERS and their battery when we get into the last DRS zone after the 2 Lesmos? Spicy is up into 4th. They have a 3-second penalty, though, so Obo doesn't necessarily have to worry about that too much, but I'm sure they've got an eye on the podium. SHS is still there, but in 6th place. They're closing down on Obo. Not long left to go. Penalties will play a big role here. And there's another driver just gone purple in sector, and that was Obo, I think. No, it was the Ferrari of Predestinato. So Predestinato's got an awful lot of pace, but it's probably going to be too little too late for them. We're on board with M1 righty. They're going to come round to win round 9 here from Monza. Let's Go RFK getting a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. That won't change their finishing position here, though. Today they're down there in 9th, our last runner out on track at the moment. So M1 is going to come round the Parabolica for one last time. Emilecki looks as though they are going to take second. And so M1 righty comes back to winning ways and wins round 9 G-Force Racing Elite League from Monza. Emilecki comes over in second.
Obo and Spicy at the moment.
M. Dorling comes over in third. Obo comes home in fourth, helped by the penalties. SHS in fifth. SS7 finishes in sixth. It all happened at the very end of that race, Toby. Desafes in seventh. Spicy dropped all the way down there to eighth, and Let's Go RFK is going to finish in ninth. So safety cars, Toby, played a huge role in the outcome of this race. But who would your driver of the day be from Monza?
I would probably have to say M1. Or no, not M1. M. Dorling, being able to defend against both M1 and SHS for such a long time. Yes, only conceding to M1, but that was because of the tyre difference.
Right, so it's M. Dorling for Toby. Pete, I'm going to ask you your driver of the day. Pete's gone with Emilecki for a solid drive from Emilecki, and I'm going to go for M1 righty. I think they judged that absolutely spot on, took advantage of the safety cars and got their tyre strategy just right as well. So mixed opinions here in the commentary box. If you're watching with us here on M1 Racing and you've got a different opinion, let us know in the chat who your driver of the day would be. It's another victory for Alpine, so huge points total for the constructors title for Alpine. Look to probably have that nailed on already. We'll do some sums on that for you for next week. But M1 righty is our victory. We've got Emilecki there in second for Aston Martin. Another podium finish for Emilecki and another podium finish for M. Dorling. So congratulations to Emilecki and M. Dorling. Back-to-back podium finishes. Obo, what a great day for Alfa Romeo, finishing in fourth. I think their highest finishing position. Predestinato in fifth. Not a great day for, hopefully not the finish that the Italian driver was looking for here at their home Grand Prix. SS7 and Desafes are finishing 6th and 7th. Spicy Nuts in 8th. And Let's Go RFK in 9th. They were all 9 finishes. We see him Dorling in the chat. It really was a tough race, but congratulations on a great finish. And that safety car at the end of the race didn't really help you out. But it gave us some great racing to watch here on M1 Racing. Let's just take a look at the constructor standings as they were at the end of our last race. This was from Zandvoort. As we could see, Alpine were well out in front. They'll extend that lead with some excellent points from M1 righty. Mercedes do consistently pick up points once again. 6th and 7th, I think it was, for the two Mercedes drivers here today. So a collection of points to go to their tally. More points for Aston Martin thanks to Emilecki's second place there. McLaren not having such a great day today, but Alfa Romeo having an absolute cracker. So that will move them up. And we're going to have a three-way fight, I think, here, Toby, for the constructors in third place. I think first and second perhaps is a given at this point, but there's a few drivers or few teams here that could take third. Who would you put your money on to win the constructors from this point?
Judging off of both the last race and this race, if Alfa Romeo can keep up this momentum, they should, in theory, be able to surpass both McLaren and Aston Martin.
I could certainly see Alfa Romeo stealing that third spot, but Aston Martin, if Emilecki keeps getting on the podium, will have something to say about that. And we've got 3 races left to go. Well, I should say 4, actually. Let me show you our calendar for the remainder of the season. Next week, we have a sprint day. We are in Qatar at the Losail circuit, and we've got a number of returning drivers for next week. We are going to have a very full grid in Qatar. Some familiar names I'm hoping are going to rejoin us next week. And so we're going to have some excellent racing over the sprint and feature races. So if you're around next Wednesday, come and join us 8 p.m. UK time for what is going to be a fantastic collection of races. And we'll see if we can get another Alpine driver back to the front. Will Predestinato recover from a rather disappointing day by their standards here in Monza to come back to winning ways? Will M1 Righty be back on the top spot? Or could M. Doring or M. Alecki get back up there? Or will we see someone else from our fast improving group of drivers? Come and join us next week, 8 p.m. UK time, to find out. If you can't join us, always come and watch our replays on both our Twitch stream and on our YouTube channel. Links are on our Twitch channel. And if you would like to take part in GeForce Racing, please do head over to our Discord server. There is a link to Discord on our Twitch and on our YouTube channels. Head over there, contact the owner SS7, and you could be out there driving with these folks every week. There's also our Ironman League starting properly this coming Sunday. If you fancy a bit of a laugh, come and join me on M1 Racing. I'll be streaming the whole race from my point of view as I drive for AlphaTauri. I'm hoping that Rio, Baggysaurus, is going to have their computer problems solved by then and will be joining me in the AlphaTauri team. We don't know where we're going to be racing yet. It's a complete surprise. We only find out 1 hour before the race starts, and it's a 100% race. A real test of stamina, certainly for my fingers on my controller. We had a great outing in Texas. It was a lot of fun when we did the pre-season a couple of weeks ago. Come and join us for that on Sunday. That will be starting at 8 p.m. UK time, also on Sunday. But if you've got nothing else planned, join us on Wednesday next week for round 10 of GeForce Racing as we get to the sharp end of the Elite League Season 2, and we'll see who is going to be crowned our Season 2 champion. All right, I've got to say a big thank you to Toby for joining us. Have you had a good time with us on M1 Racing today?
Yeah, I've had a great time. It's been quite different from being behind a wheel on there, but I quite enjoyed it. Didn't have the risk of crashing.
Yeah, we do crash and burn occasionally in the commentary box, but usually for different reasons. So thank you for being with us here. You'd be welcome back anytime, and thanks for keeping Rio's seat warm for them as well. My thanks to Pete, as always, for keeping me informed of all the various different battles that went on through the race here. To our drivers for another great round of racing here in Monza, and to all of you for watching. Thanks for being with us here, giving us up some of your time on a Wednesday to spend it with me, Toby and Pete and our drivers. Come and join us next week. Until then, stay safe and we'll see you very soon on M1 Racing. Bye for now.